Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of the Voxcaster podcast. As always, it is Wednesday, and we are here with another episode of the Loonshrine Book Club, hosted by our very own Kim. So, Kim, why don't you take it away? What chapters did you guys work on this week? What's new? What did you learn about?
Yeah, so welcome back, everyone. This is episode 5 of the Loonshrine Studios Book Club. We're on chapters 9 and 10. Pretty far in the book, honestly. And these two chapters have kind of brought what we've been talking about in the last few episodes to a head, I believe.
Hmm?
But we'll just jump right into it. So starting with chapter 9, we see Loken with Keeler, one of the remembrancers, my favorite remembrancer. I really like her. Side note, I think she's really, really interesting and really easy to relate to from a reader perspective. But sorry, they're aboard the Vengeful Spirit, the ship, and they're going down into the deeps because of some supernatural activity that isn't supernatural but is supernatural, but no one wants to believe it's supernatural. So already we're on the edge of our seats, and Loken finds a temple hidden in the deeps behind in the back of some parts of the spacecraft. I forget exactly what, but yeah, we see that religion is alive and well, and humans are holding on to belief and holding on to hope.
Yeah, no, and again, like it kind of ties back to some of the other points we've brought up about like showing a bit of the humanity side of things in the Imperium, as well as like the arguments between like what is the truth and versus what is allowed to be the truth, I guess, in a way.
Yeah, no, and it shows again, like, yeah, no matter how hard you try to impose your truth on people, and no matter how hard you try to stamp out certain parts of humanity, like people, when they're scared, when they're afraid, when they're in the middle of a war, like they're going to turn to whatever gives them hope, and that's religion in this case. And I think that's going to be, I know enough about Warhammer, but I think that's going to be a massive, massive issue for the Imperium going forward.
I guess we'll just have to find out.
Oh no.
So diving in, what can you want to give a quick summary about chapter 9 then and what that was all about?
Chapter 10.
9 or 10?
So, yes, so chapter 9 was all, like we talked about, was all about finding the temple in the
Mm.
deeps aboard the Vengeful Spirit, and just realizing that no matter how hard the Imperium pushes, and no matter how hard they try to put their truth on people, people are going to turn to religion, and they're going to turn to some sort of belief when there's no hope, when they're faced with just death.
Yeah, no, and this is like a kind of a way, I guess, to tie like this like supernatural setting almost to like a real life grounding point almost, if I guess you could say. Because like we see this a lot happens in like real life, right? Like I mean, we've heard stories about like people that, never believe in anything and have zero faith, and then at a moment before death or something, suddenly they're the ones screaming the loudest, right? So
Yeah.
it's interesting to see like the ties like that in like a Warhammer sense, where it's kind of like like how you said it there, like everyone wants a belief, everybody wants to have like something that they're fighting for, some faith that they believe is so much greater that would compel you to want to do certain actions.
Yeah, yeah. If you, I mean, I personally believe, like, if you're fighting for your life and you don't have anything really to fight for other than, well, like my country or my people back home, like the countrymen, whatever, it's a very different feeling. Like, people can correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe like there's more strength in you're fighting for a personal cause or personal reason. You're fighting to hold on to those relationships or memories or future promises. Like if I'm at war and I know that my family, who I share every day with, I can't imagine like a life without them. If I know that they're back home counting on me to survive and me to fight, I'm going to fight as hard as I can.
Right.
But again, people can correct me if I'm wrong. But I believe we're seeing that actually with Loken. Like we already kind of have seen that with Keeler, where we're seeing she's empathizing more with the humans and seeing the destruction that the Imperium has caused. But Loken, we've kind of touched on it a bit in previous chapters. But chapter 9, we see, especially when he goes and talks to Abaddon and Torgadon. Yeah, so we see that at the end when Loken goes back and he's talking to Torgadon and Abaddon. And sorry, once again, I have to say it every episode. Names are my kryptonite.
But also, like, why would they put two names that are so similar?
That's why they're doing this on purpose at this point. They know people have problems. God.
Abaddon, Torgadon.
Torgadon, Abaddon. It just makes you want to rhyme them. Abaddon, Trogadon.
Well, it also depends on where you're from, because some people say it's Abaddon.
Abaddon.
Yeah.
Huh.
So it'd be Torgadon.
Torgadon and
Abaddon.
Abaddon. Okay.
I'm just saying, it just depends on where you're from. I think everything's correct. I'm just saying, like, it's all due to, like, punctuality, right? Like, it's a punctual thing, but
I kind of like those ways better, actually.
Abaddon and Torgadon?
Torgadon and Abaddon.
Okay.
But yeah, so Loken's talking to Torgadon and Abaddon near the end of the chapter, and he's telling them about finding the temple. And Abaddon, I wanted to say Abaddon, Abaddon straight up is like, that's heresy. It goes against the Imperium. It's straight up heresy. Like, we can't have that. And Loken and Torgadon a little bit, they kind of see the human side of it as well, especially Loken, in seeing like these people are facing, once again, death. They're facing their whole lives being gone. They don't know what tomorrow brings. They're watching their whole city be destroyed. They're turning to whatever they can in times of darkness. Or
In times of desperation.
yeah, exactly. Like, they're so desperate that they're turning to religion. It's not heresy, it's just human nature, and it's just scared people. So yeah, I think Loken is slowly starting to distance himself from the Mournival and maybe space marines in general, at least from their way of thinking, or thinking that everything that they're told and everything that they know is 100% the truth. He kind of seems like he's able to separate himself and critically think more than the other space marines. No offense to all the other ones, but yeah, he kind of seems like he's
The more outside the box thinker.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. But no, moving on to chapter 10,
Mhm.
we see a big moment, and it may not seem like that big of an event, but we see the first funeral be held in the Imperium by Horus and by the Luna Wolves. They hold a funeral service for all the fallen lives from the battle. And Keeler, she even notes, like, during Horus's speech and during the funeral, she's moved and she starts feeling some sort of connection that's different than she's ever felt before the to the cause or for the people. Like, she's feeling belief and she's starting to kind of go towards religion and be interested in religion. So it may not seem like a big thing, but people's mindsets, people's whole lives are shifting and people are kind of opening their eyes, it seems like.
Yeah, no, and I think part of, like, the journey of some of the stuff in Horus Heresy that's kind of maybe seen more than 40K is, like, the discoverance of, like, what the real truth is versus what we call the Imperial Truth. Because, like, we as the reader and the outside perspective, we get all the perspectives, but you have to put yourself like they would only be told one way, one
Yes.
thing. They wouldn't be told like, hey, like, Tower out there and they live like this like communist style of life that actually works and is actually like everything's in unison. But like a space marine wouldn't really know that because they would just be told like they're filthy, they're alien, they're bad.
Yeah.
Our way is the way and everything else is wrong. Whereas, like, you get these, like, little hints throughout the Horus Heresy where people almost question what they're being told, and it's almost like, "Oh, yeah, that's cool that they're thinking outside of it."
Yeah. Yeah, and you get also the flip side of that of, "Wait a minute, why would they do that?" Like, you get the off Space Marines that, like Loken, kind of critically think and kind of look at the bigger picture and are starting to put pieces together. But no, I think it is taking us one step closer to a big, big reveal or a big some sort of battle, I would I would guess. I don't think it's going up for Loken, to be honest. I'm a little
Find
nervous.
out.
I'm gonna be flipping the pages like crazy.
Yeah, so, was there anything else wanted to add about details we might have missed?
Well, I did want to go back really quick to the funeral. I know I mentioned like Horace giving a speech during it. Did want to touch on that briefly because once again, we saw Horace's character kind of shift a little bit and take one step closer to him revolt basically one step closer of separating himself from the Imperial Truth because his speech alone, like, it went against even what he was saying, not just the funeral itself, but even what he was saying went against the Imperium's way. He was talking about connections, about human life and like the connections between humans and other space marines and showing emotions that are very human and are not space marine emotions. And they even mention like it's can be a sign of heresy. What I know, big word, what he's doing. So I did want to touch on that because I think that is again very very important. And also mentioning that his speech was the speech that made Keeler feel some sort of emotion or some sort of connection to religion as he was speaking. So it's showing that he already has the power to get people to stand behind him, to believe in him.
Yeah, no, I agree with you, on that, and, yeah, it is kind of funny, right? Like, almost showing too much emotion is almost seen as, like like a borderline heretical action. It's like, "Whoa."
If he were to shed a tear, straight to jail.
Oh, yeah, 100%.
Yeah, never getting out.
Gone, stripped of War Master immediately.
It's just one tier too. One tier too many. That's what I'm saying. But no, I'm really excited for the next two chapters. So next week, it's going to be chapters 11 and 12.
Almost done.
I know. Again, every time I flip the page or even get to a new chapter, I'm like, when did I read these pages? Like, I don't remember reading this much.
Yeah, it adds up fast, and, again, to anybody, those that are following along and listening, let us know if you wanna change up the 2 chapters a week system. So far, we think it's working pretty good.
Mm,
Nobody feels overwhelmed. It kinda gives you, like, a little bit of time in your life. You're more than welcome to read ahead if you want to. This is just so then you can kind of go back and, kinda like, "Hey, yeah, I thought that too. Maybe I
mm,
didn't." And you're, always welcome to join us on Discord or message us on Instagram to continue talking with us outside these
mm.
episodes. Do you have anything else you wanted to add?
No, just that super excited for next week's episode. We're super excited for you guys to tune in this Saturday for our next guest episode.
Mm.
We're really looking forward to that. It's been a lot of fun having and meeting so many new people in the hobby and seeing all the different kinds of works and learning about their different processes. So we're hoping that you guys are having just as much fun listening along.
Yeah, no, it's been pretty good so far, and yeah, make sure you guys tune in this Saturday. We do have another guest coming on, and I think with that, we're just gonna wrap it up here, and we'll see you guys next week for chapters 11 and 12. So, from all of us here at the Voxcaster podcast, thank you guys so much. We really appreciate it. Like, subscribe, follow, all the usual stuff. You guys know what you're doing. And we'll see you guys on the next one. Have a good one. Bye.
Bye. Love you.